This is Bowker Creek. It may look inelaborate at first, but this small slice of ecological growth harbors much more complexity than you might catch on a first glance. One of the first things you'll notice upon entering the creek is the dense population of ducks, specifically mallards at this time of year. Mallards are a semi-aquatic bird, native to North America, and commonly found in Canada and the United States during the spring and summer. The male mallard is distinctive because of its iridescent green head, which it uses to attract the hens during breeding season. However, male ducks don't strictly keep things hetero. Up to 20% of mallard ducks engage in homosexual activity, an unusually high number for birds, though mating season has just finished. These breeded bros will soon be leaving their home to molt. Mallards aren't the only type of duck observed in this part of the creek. This is the American widgeon, another variant of the dabbling duck. They wear a far darker coat than their cousins and have a slightly smaller body. These two species are capable of interbreeding, though few engage in this kind of activity. The natural lifespan of a mallard is 7 to 9 years, but only 50% live past the age of 2. The ducklings here are around 6 weeks old now. During this stage of the young mallards' lives, their ruffled feathers are consummating under the watchful eye of their mother. Within a few weeks, they will appear almost identical to their elders in their feathers, sizes, and quacks. The natural diet of a mallard consists of an array of shrubbery and seeds. In order to obtain food hidden under the water, these ducks flip themselves upside down and push their heads out straight. Using this tactic, they fill their mouths with as much material as they can, filtering out unwanted liquids via their serrated bill. Ducks make use of several other tactics when gathering, such as plucking grain and seed from nearby plants and grubbing underground. The restoration section of Bowker Creek is home to a wide range of non-indigenous and native species of flora. Around the creek, 2 types of native rose can be found, the Nootka rose and the wild clustered rose. Directly behind the creek, there's a large patch of invasive buttercups, taking valuable living space away from the native plants that could have been growing there. Reaching towards the water are some Himalayan blackberries, a recently introduced plant with prickly thorns that hide delicious berries. Enclosed by water grows the hostile canary reedgrass. This pale green grass may look unassuming at first, but in reality, it's an invasive species that can impede the creek's water flow and suffocate surrounding plants. The ducks are not concerned with the grass's destructive tendencies, and have made its domain a place of respite. Juxtaposing the bulbous appearance and lax hunting style of the mallards, a large population of crows finds daytime residence in Bowker Creek, though these curious critters don't roost here. The northwestern crow, the only species of crow found on Vancouver Island, tends to root en masse, with a single roost often containing thousands of birds.
Yep.
Crows are remarkably social creatures and will often share information and hunting strategies upon returning to their nesting site. Come morning time, they'll take to the skies in smaller, more tight-knit groups, once again finding their familiar hunting grounds. Not only are crows considered to be the smartest birds on planet Earth, rivaled only by a select few species of parrot, their intellect is near to that of cetaceans and great apes. Adult crows tend to have problem-solving skills comparable to that of human children, a proficiency they certainly don't put to waste. In hunting, crows will typically occupy a variety of different roles. 2 or more birds remain perched up high, keeping a watchful eye for any danger while their corvid comrades scour the terrain for food. Some crows even poke and prod at bark, using sticks as makeshift tools in hopes of finding grub. Grain, fruit, and seeds make up the majority of the northwestern crow's diet, though they're far from picky. Crows, like humans, are opportunists. They'll eagerly hone in on any source of food they can find, whether it's a wriggling grub sat prone under a leaf an abandoned piece of human scrap, or even a small bird or mammal. In fact, the crows of Bowker Creek have been observed taking advantage of the surplus of unborn and infant ducks during spring and summertime. Our resident mother duck started her term with at least 8 eggs, 7 of which hatched into ducklings. However, the crows, along with other predators, have since reduced that number to 3. Though the Bowker Creek Restoration Project has come a long way since its conception, the ecosystem still looks nothing like it did in its natural state before the arrival of colonizers. The creek can be observed closest to its natural form in one of its 2 headwaters, just beside the UVic campus. This lush wetland, though part of the same creek, is home to a very different selection of flora and fauna. The stream is much thinner, with the majority of water sitting absorbed into the surrounding soil. The creek is dense with aquatic plants like duckweed and skunk cabbage, and contrary to the mellow oak and willow trees that dominate the Oak Bay region, a towering thicket of red cedars and western hemlocks loom over the headwater, casting a cool shadow over the region. Without a significant human influence, the wildlife here appears much more comfortable, more natural. This mother deer treads lightly, taking care not to come too close to us as she makes a meal out of the white oso berries that litter the area, as well as the other foliage. And sat not 100 feet away, hidden beneath the thick skunk cabbage, is her fawn, having a rest. This family certainly has no shortage of food in the watershed, as goes for the small birds, like this red-breasted robin, who gorge themselves on grub. Though, life for these birds doesn't only consist of eating. They need to maintain caution so as to not attract the attention of the birds of prey that patiently sit in the canopy, waiting for their next meal to announce itself. And should any animals find themselves recently deceased, you can be sure that one of the looming turkey vultures will show themselves at the sight of its passing, ready to feast on its carrion. And yet, despite this incredible biodiversity, the crows and ducks that characterize the Oak Bay portion of the creek are nowhere to be found. In fact, prior to the colonization of Vancouver Island, the majority of the creek shared that attribute. So what is it then that makes these 2 birds so at home in the more urban parts of the creek? As it turns out, the increase in duck population over the last century is not entirely a testament to their own adaptability. Mallards have a foothold across North America today, largely due to the conservation efforts of duck hunters through the 20th century. An initiative was started to place more protection on migratory birds throughout North America, and waterfowlers began paying a voluntary tax for each duck they shot. This care, paired with a resolute lack of care for grassland and other bird species, is one of the most important factors in the duck's widespreadedness across North America today. Though we'd be ignorant to fully discredit the duck's biology in this ecological battle. Their preferred habitat of wet and relatively flat land has been steadily increasing for centuries. This, paired with the destruction of suitable habitats for the animals that make adult mallards their prey, has also had a great impact on their adaptability in human-made environments. Crows, unlike ducks, have thrived without a conscious human effort to make it so. In a swiftly changing world, natural selection favors those with the cognitive ability to make alterations to their strategies in hunting, mating, and foraging. Animals that rely more so on their natural instincts to survive are far more at the whims of their environment, which wouldn't be cause for concern in a fully natural world. However, with the advent of industrialization, change can't be counted on to be linear or consistent. Species like crows and ravens don't simply make things work in urban environments. They actively search for opportunities to exploit and take advantage of the circumstances presented to them. Crows that chance upon nuts hidden in trees will often find themselves struggling to break through their hard shells. These cunning animals will drop these nuts onto human streets, allowing cars to do the heavy lifting for them. And this is just one example of their adaptability in our new volatile world. They also make use of our colossal artificial structures to build their nests upon. Although crows and ducks have found success within our expansive concrete borders, the vast majority of fauna on planet Earth has not. Our innovations far outpace the slow crawl of evolution, and human technological growth is only increasing in speed. It's important to nurture the species that call this world home, not only for ethical reasons, but for the sake of our own survival. Our civilization has not yet unveiled the key to synthesizing food at a large scale, and destabilization of the chemical balance within the ocean and atmosphere continues to put our homes at risk from natural disasters. Short-term thinking may be the greatest risk to the longevity of human civilization, as well as life on Earth. However, the continued support and individual efforts for programs like the Bowker Creek Restoration Project and the Raincoast Conservation Foundation are the key to preserving our symbiosis with the natural world for as long as possible.